Hello and welcome to the Holiday Romance Track here at Continual. We're going to be talking Christmas and holiday, love, romance, all the trimmings, and jingle all the way. So we're going to be talking with a variety of romance authors here about what we write, what we read, what we love, what we watch. Just going to get that holiday spirit. So I'm going to start by letting our panelists introduce themselves, and I'm going to start out with Hank.
Oh, thank you. I am Hank Edwards, and I write gay romance in a plethora of subgenres, mostly paranormal, a lot of mystery, a lot of sass, thrown in a lot of nice comfort reads like holiday romances lately, the last few years. So that's me.
Okay, Nancy.
Hey y'all, I'm Nancy Naigle. I'm from North Carolina, and I write heartwarming, sweet love stories, things like you see on Hallmark. I have been doing that for quite a while, and my latest two books are A Heartfelt Christmas Promise and Hope at Christmas. I had a dual release date this year.
Awesome.
Glad to be here. Thanks for putting this together, Gail.
Kiernan.
I'm Kiernan Kell. I also write GLBT romance, in like Hank in a plethora of subgenres. And I have a Christmas story coming out as part of a 3-book, it's 3 novellas in one book. And the one I'm referring to that takes place in the holidays is called Hell Takes a Holiday. And it's about Lucifer, who gets an unexpected visit from another archangel on Christmas Eve. And things get very naughty in hell.
Dahlia.
Oh, I'm Dahlia Rose, and I write interracial romance. I write under I'm a multi-genre author. I just write basically where the mood takes me. I have my first Christmas romance coming out with Hallmark next year in October, October 21st, 2021. Save the date, because I'm hoping it's going to be awesome. And that's called Mistletoe and Juno. I love writing Christmas romances. I've got many of them since I am also an indie published author. And primarily when I'm writing Christmas romance, it definitely goes towards the military aspect, because of my own, military family. So I love giving soldiers happy endings for Christmas, but not happy endings like what you guys think about, like happy endings with like love and stuff. Not those are the happy endings. Okay.
They could have
clear that up.
Yeah, they can have both.
They can have both.
Violet.
Okay, I am Violet Howe, and I write romantic suspense, romantic paranormal mystery, and romantic women's fiction. And I just released my first Christmas holiday romance. It's a sweet romance last week as part of a 5-author, 6-book holiday romance series. So yeah, that's
Awesome. I'm Gail Z Martin and Morgan Brice. As Gail, I write epic fantasy, urban fantasy, and more, not on the romance side. As Morgan Brice, I write urban fantasy, male paranormal romance. So I have several holiday and Christmas books out, but they also tend to involve chasing down demons, dark witches, or maybe Krampus, as one does. So there's love, but there's also, chasing down the monsters, which just brings people closer together in the holiday spirit.
Definitely.
Makes them hungry for that holiday dinner.
Which might be a real holiday spirit. You never know. What do we love so much about Christmas and holiday and Christmas, winter, holiday romances? Why do we love them so much? I'm going to go around the other way and start with Violet this time.
I think a lot of it has to do with hope. I think that we have this image of the holidays or of Christmas as being this, time of everyone coming together and time of everyone giving and forgiving and it being this, family holiday and a time when, the spirit of the season. And I don't know I don't know how much that exists in reality, but I think it's something that we buy into. It's something that we would like for that to be real. We would like for that to exist. And so I think we love holiday stories, holiday books, holiday movies, anything that kind of gives us the opportunity to experience that. So I think
Dahlia.
I think hope is one of the things that, like Violet said, but I think it brings up memories for everyone, like this whimsical feeling of when you were a child and how excited it. Even as an adult, you still get it and it still clutches you in the chest. Like, it's Christmas morning, run downstairs, and now you're watching your own kids do the same things that you do. I have a little bit of a different take on it because most of my Christmases were in the Caribbean, so we didn't have snow. Our snow was white sand beaches and these trees that turn white around December, and they're called snow on the mountains. But it's like a smell, like a taste, a smell. You feel it all around you, and for some reason, it just like fills you with this happiness. So I try to portray that in my books.
Great. Kiernan?
I totally agree. I think it's a sense of nostalgia that everybody kind of wants to recapture. You know, when you're a child and you get that one gift that you always, always wanted, and it's there under the tree Christmas morning, nothing can compare with that wonder. And I think as an adult, that's also what we're looking for. We're looking for our happy endings, and that's what romance is. It's the happy endings. And then at Christmas especially, or the holidays, it's all fluff and light and sweet and happy and joyful. And especially now, that's what we need.
Mm-hmm. Nancy?
I've got 10 Christmas romances now or Christmas love stories. And for mine, I mean, they're always set in small towns for me, but you know, Christmas is about tradition and family, and for me, even community. You know, it's the Christmas parades, it's the snow angels, you know, it's the hanging those first ornaments on the tree and the smell of the pine tree, you know, as you're setting up the tree in the house and those needles are everywhere and you're still vacuuming them up in February and loving it. But the smell of cookies and, you know, seeing people you haven't seen in a while. So I think it's that warm, nostalgia, you know, the tradition that just keeps us alive and hoping and anxious to relive it every single year. And it's okay if it's exactly the same because it all feels so good.
Mm-hmm. Hank?
So it is it's all the nostalgia and the fluff and the happiness, but for a lot of gay readers, it can be stressful and it can be really hard being around family, especially when you're not accepted or if you've been kicked out. And so when I'm writing these stories, I want to provide that sense of not companionship, but that sense of community and a sense of well-being and hope. You know, that there is hope out there for a found family kind of thing. So I kind of tend to focus on that a little bit.
I do a lot with found family because I also write male paranormal romance, and some of my characters are not welcome at home. Some of them are, you know, they've left bad experiences, and part of their story is that they've come to a new place and they not only find love, but they also find friendship and they find that community. And, you know, not everybody's Christmas memories are happy ones, but I think we have this collective idea of what the perfect Christmas should be like, which includes snow. No matter where you live, there's this sense that, well, if it doesn't look like a Christmas card somehow, you know, and most of us don't get snow. But we have all these ideas. And so it's fun to check a lot of them off in a book and give you that experience, even though it probably doesn't exist in real life quite like that, maybe for anybody. But in this book, which is escapism and fluff and fun, you can have it all and eat all the cookies and not gain any weight either. So, you know, it's all part of the fun. How do you, and Nancy, you kind of alluded to this, you know, there's a running joke about particularly Hallmark movies, but really all seasonal romance is that you could have a bingo card and you can check off the tropes and, drinking game, bingo card, whatever.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of the, finds the Christmas tree, meets the elf, discover, there are things that come up. How do you tell a story that ticks off all the reader's favorite things and still manages to stay fresh and not feel like a retread or something of your own work or somebody else's?
Yeah.
Nancy, I'm going to pick on you first because you kind of brought it up.
Okay. It's not easy. Definitely there are a lot of, and especially, in Hallmark, a lot of it is the same stories being told in just a new and different way. But I think for me, it's the character arc. And, just like Hank alluded to, some people are going through difficult things during the holidays. And hopefully in those stories where my folks are going through difficult things, you get to go with them on that journey and they can see hope and find new things and experience holidays in a new and different way. So usually you have to do a little digging. And, like last year and when Christmas Angels came out, I was so excited because I actually had snowballing in it. And that was something I'd never even heard of. So when I stumbled across it, I understand it's something they do, up north quite a bit, but that was fun and new to put in a book because I'd never heard anybody use that before. So yeah, it's exciting when you can find something a little different to sneak in there. But it was funny because when Hope at Christmas became a Hallmark movie, one of the things that I thought was really interesting was I had my families do chocolate dipped pretzels instead of cookies at the holidays. And I thought, oh, this is great because it's something the whole family can do and they can emulate that at home. And when they made the movie, they made them make cookies. So sometimes it doesn't matter how hard we try.
Kiernan.
I'm sorry, I get stuck on the snowballing because, the GLBT genre, that's a whole nother meaning.
Meaning, yes.
Yeah, I was about to say, oh, don't say it. What was the question?
How do you keep it fresh?
Fresh. I think it's like with anything else. It's, you have your major plot lines and they're just repeated forever and ever and ever. There's a certain amount of plot lines you can have. But I think it's in the author's voice and the storytelling that makes it different and fresh. I think we all have our own voice. I think the characters that we create are all unique. And that's what makes, the plot might be the same, like you're saying on the Hallmark movies. The plot may be pretty much, boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl again. But how we take those characters through the process is what makes it different.
Okay. Dahlia? And I'm really intrigued with your whole beach thing. That just sounds wonderful.
I mean, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but how do you make things different?
Well, I mean, I don't always write beach for Christmas, but when I do, I take things out of certain elements. Like I have one book called Seducing Santa, where 2 weeks before Christmas, Santa is burnt out and he needs a vacation. Where does he go? To the Caribbean. And he has to convince the heroine basically that he is Santa Claus because she doesn't believe she's from the Caribbean. We aren't raised believing in Santa Claus. We don't have chimneys. And he's not coming in our back door because dad'll not let him in the back door. And so our whole culture is not built around, this magical person that comes down a chimney and brings you presents. So we're not raised with the belief of Santa. So here's Santa Claus in the islands telling this girl, I'm Santa Claus. So the unbeliever, she doesn't believe him. I wouldn't believe him. So then I just took that and moved it into an element of the Caribbean and made it fun, but it still had the Christmas elements from my culture in the book. And even when I'm writing American version of Christmas, I take things out of the settings and I try to put them someplace else. My Hallmark book, for instance, that will be coming out, my hero is an amputee. He's a military amputee. And we don't see that a lot. And we don't see them having happy endings. And a lot of people really don't understand that when they come home, they face so much difficulty that sometimes they don't have their happy ending. So I think that for me, it's always trying to find the one person that needs a happy ending and throwing them into the story and making Christmas the thing that heals them.
Great, great. Violet?
Well, I agree with Kiernan. I think a lot of it has to do with the author's voice and the way you tell the story, but I also think too, the characters involved, because, you know, not all of us, as you mentioned, have had happy memories of Christmas, or not all of us have had the same Christmas experiences, and neither of the characters. So I think sometimes the way the character approaches the holidays, or the way the character is experiencing the holidays, if that's, you know, maybe for the first time, or maybe in a found family situation, or something, like kind of leaning into the character's experience. With the holiday romance that I just released, she is older and she has 4 foster children who are now all adults. And so that time of like being a parent with the magical Christmas and being able to do Santa Claus and baking the cookies, like she's in a transition phase where now like her adult children all live in different places and they come home for Christmas. So this is kind of her one time to be with them. And the gentleman that she meets in the book, the hero of the book, is in a situation where this is the first year that his son is with his girlfriend's family. So they're kind of in this transition of like, you know, they still want that Christmas with the family, but the family's aging and the family's at a different stage. And so what Christmas means to them this year is much different, and finding each other. So I think really just leaning into the characters and how they're experiencing Christmas either differently, even if it has all those elements that you talked about, you know, the Christmas tree, the mistletoe, and the elf, how is that character experiencing that differently than another character did in a different story?
Very good. Yeah, I think for me, some of it is drawing on the differences in the characters' backgrounds when they go home with each other and discover that not everybody's Christmas looks like the one they were brought up with. So in my Badlands series, Simon came from a very small family. They were very prim and proper, and nobody showed a whole lot of emotion. And it was very, you know, let's use the good china, and everybody's sitting in stiff, uncomfortable clothing, and nobody's having a good time. And he goes home to Pittsburgh with his lover, who is one of 10 kids in a loud, loving Irish Catholic family where everybody's a cop. And his tough guy lover is actually one of the younger brothers. So he's constantly getting, you know, picked on or noogied by his older brother, as opposed to being, you know, the badass. And he's never dealt with this level of chaos and noise. He's also never been hugged this much in his life. And he likes it, but he's kind of overwhelmed, and everybody's trying to feed him something. And so, you know, we get insights into both characters when we see his, you know, the juxtaposition of the backgrounds and then the reactions to what's just normal for the other guy. And that's kind of fun for me because I get to delve into the character's head a little more to get there. Hank, how about you?
Yeah, I got to check that book out because it sounds good. I kept it, my Christmas story from last year, Snowflakes and Song Lyrics, I kept it a little fresh by putting the characters in a hotel. And it was the weeks leading up to Christmas, and one was there for business, and the other one is a singer who's trying to write a Christmas song. And the worker can overhear him out in the courtyard, the singer trying to, and it's actually his favorite singer that he's had a crush on, of course, because Christmas. And you know, he's having trouble with the lyrics, and so he actually hears the melody, and he kind of like writes some suggestions and leaves secret notes. So I kind of like tried to take it out of the usual, you know, let's go to a big house and have all the trimmings and things like that, and sort of like make the spirit of the season appear in a hotel in upstate New York that's getting hammered by snowstorms every other day, you know, because that's what happens up there, that Al Roker says. But so it was kind of like, you know, let's just switch the scene up a little bit and have the characters meet in a different kind of way. So hopefully that kept it fresh. We'll see.
Cool. Nancy?
I started that one.
Oh, you started that one.
Yeah.
See, I got so involved with
I didn't
the world
take
I know.
that, you know, all right. So we've talked somewhat about the stuff we've written, but then what do you like to read when you flip this around and you're now the reader and you're picking these escapist holiday reads for yourself? Dahlia, what are some of the ones that stand out to you?
I think that it's really, I read a lot of paranormal or urban fantasy. So anything that, for instance, when Charlene Harris they had a bundle for Christmas, and I read that and I completely loved it because it was out of the genre that I usually write. And there's vampires, there's witches, there's everyone. And I mean, there was even, I think she even had a True Blood, aspect, or,
Yeah.
her
Mhm.
series. And they even had one for Christmas. And I love Christmas books like that because it's kind of like different. I'm writing the cookie cutter basically, and I'm writing these people falling in love and having happy endings. And I really wanted to just read a vampire biting someone at Christmas. So that's kind of my go-to right there.
Okay.
Like
Awesome.
a vampire under the mistletoe.
Exactly. And also Hallmark, because through what we've been going through and being, home so much, Hallmark had Christmas in July, and I
Mhm.
watched every one of those because for some reason it just felt good and it made me feel good, and it just made me happy, and it took away all the worry and the stress and what are we going to do. And I mean, it all depends on the situation you are in, but I just absolutely loved that for July.
Yeah, they were smart doing that. I saw that
Mhm.
come up and go, oh, that's going to be a ratings hit.
Yeah.
We all needed a little Christmas right that
Oh,
very
we definitely did. Almost went and put up my Christmas tree, but I was like, no, that's a little too much. A little crazy.
Violet?
I am probably, I guess, in the minority in that I don't really care for the super sweet, super cheesy, super over the top Christmas. Like I like them when there's a little more, I guess, dysfunction or a little more angst. I really like stories where there's like little vignettes that are interconnected, where you have a lot of different things going on with different characters. And some of them may be having happy Christmas, and some of them, this may be the worst holiday of their life or whatever. And you kind of see how each of us affect so many different people, whether we know that or not, in small encounters and in big. I like seeing, I guess, more plausible or realistic Christmases that still give hope, and where people are able to find some type of happiness or some type of peace in it without it being super sweet.
I love stories that have any kind of paranormal in them. Ghosts, vampires, werewolves. You throw that into a story, it's automatically, gets extra points in my book because I like that stuff. So when I can find a paranormal Christmas story, I'm all over it. And so I'm a huge fan of the Vale Valley series. I think they're up to at least 4 so far, where it's a shifter-centric series. And there's always, all kinds of people from odd backgrounds getting together. There was a wonderful series with snow globes where the snow globe was integral to bringing the characters together. And sometimes the character was locked in the snow globe. Sometimes it was, a foreshadowing, but there was something paranormal about the snow globe. And there was another Christmas Angel series where there was this decoration for a Christmas tree that had its own lore to it, and it gets passed down. It gets lost after the owner finds their heart's desire, and it finds its way to the next person who needs to find their heart's desire, and then it passes on. And so it was a series that took place in different time periods as the angel found its new home, and then things unfolded. And I love that mix with the paranormal and the holiday and the wishing and the dreaming and all that. Just holiday ghosts, it's a good thing. Hank?
I like the Hallmark movies. I watch them. I have to. It's just crazy. And the funny ones always stand out, of course. That's how you get people to remember you, is make them laugh. And so things like every year I have to put in While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock, and it's just classic. I just love that movie. And I think I've watched it. Speaking of Christmas in July, I think I watched that probably like 5 times that month, like over the summer, just because I need the money. A couple of books really stood out that I read last year that I'm going to reread this year. One's called Faux Ho Ho, which is Faux, and that's by Nathan Berjoin, and it's really a sweet and funny story. And I love the cover too because it's a hand-drawn cover. It's really nice, great story with a gay romance in it. And then there's Don't Stop Believing. The librarian checks out the lumberjack, and that's another fun, like very short but sweet Christmas story. And it's like, tick off the boxes for the romance, but it's a good one too. So those are my couple of things that I look forward to.
Awesome. Nancy?
Well, I love Hallmark, of course. But, when it comes to reading at the holidays, I am such a sucker for those special, more kind of squarish shaped books that they put out that are hardcover. Debbie Maycomer's, Nora Roberts.
Yep.
And I have my shelf still lined all up all year long. They get their spot. And every Christmas I reread all of them, and then I add the new ones. And, I'm great with just the traditional stories. I love, Debbie Maycomer's, I always 1225 Christmas Tree Lane, was in the Cedar Cove series. Mary Kate Andrews is always such a hoot. And I loved Blue Christmas by her. And I'll just reread them all over and over again. And even my good old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer book and my pop-up. I'm good with all those old-fashioned ones.
Kiernan?
Well, confession time. I don't normally read a lot of romance. Believe
Yes.
it. I know.
Vapors.
I know. I read horror for pleasure. So, at Christmas I'm reading Stephen King. And Clive Barker. I do like some Christmas romances though that I've read. Usually they're short and sweet, like the Charlie and Harris story, which is short, and I think she had a vampire in it I think it took place in Eric's Club, if I remember. Charlene Kenyon has a few out on the holiday in her Dark Hunter series that I enjoy, and I have certain, I have authors who I follow that I'll read their books as well, but for the most part, if I'm going to read for pleasure, I'm reading like something really horrible.
Hey, The Shining had a lot of snow in it, and they were at a mountain lodge.
Absolutely.
So they picked off a couple of big
That's
ones.
kind of Christmassy.
Yeah.
One of the, and I know it might sound weird, but one of the best things I've ever seen is like, I don't know if you follow Supernatural, Sam and Dean. Their Christmas was epic. I'm sorry. I love that episode more than anything, where Santa smells like peppermint ripple and all. It just cracks me up every time.
We need to talk because I'm a huge fan.
Yes.
When it comes to watching Christmas specials, I love them all. Everything from the claymation stuff, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and all the way through to It's Wonderful Life, and everything in between. I absolutely adore them. But my one steadfast rule is nothing before Thanksgiving. I cannot allow myself to watch a holiday movie before Thanksgiving. That is my one rule.
So you're not getting the warm and fuzzies for October 23rd.
I don't even know what she's saying right now.
I know, right? I'm not making sense.
Countdown to Christmas starts in 3 days.
What are you saying?
I may make an exception this year. This year, 2020 has been a little different.
You need it right now.
I may make an exception.
Well, Kiernan segued right into my next question, which was, aside from the Hallmark Channel, what are your go-to, gotta watch them every year, holiday specials or movies? Die Hard counts, very Supernatural Christmas counts. Might not be Christmas to anybody else, but it's part of your Christmas. Violet?
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It is like my all-time favorite Christmas film. I make my kids watch it every year. I have 2 boys that are 22, and they've gotten to where they now enjoy it again. Like they enjoyed it when they were middle school, and then high school they were like again, and then now they enjoy it again. We did a Christmas cruise when they were in high school, and they had teased me mercilessly that I was going to have to miss Christmas Vacation because we were on the cruise. And then we got on board, and guess what movie was playing on board? So yeah, I love Christmas Vacation. I love Elf. I love the claymation, like, you know, the Rudolph and Frosty, although I cry every single time I watch them. And yeah, I love I like the ones that are more quirky and comedic. So
I know. I mean, Donner is so mean to Rudolph. It still bugs me.
So was Santa.
Yes.
Excuse me, Santa.
He was.
Well, and when Rudolph's little eyes spin around, I cry. I'm flat out crying every year.
Oh, no.
And I know he's gonna be okay, but I just
I really don't like those. I can't with the cartoon ones. There was one that broke me forever, and I mean forever. And I think it was a British one. It's Nestor the long-eared donkey.
Yes.
Yeah.
That broke me at 10 years old, and I sobbed for the entire Christmas when his mom cleared out the snow so he had the little warm patch of green, and she froze to death, and I'm like, nope, can't do it. Nope. And even today, even with my kids and they're watching all this good stuff, I'm upstairs watching Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings is my Christmas holiday treat because they always bring it on back to back to back for the holidays. So that's me. I can't watch those little things that make me cry. I won't make dinner. I won't.
Lord of the Rings is an anytime movie.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I grew up watching the Grinch, the animated one, the Chuck Jones version, and Rudolph and all of those. Mm-hmm. But there are some that I didn't see the first time around that my husband said, "Oh, what do you mean you didn't watch this growing up?" Like The Year Without a Santa Claus. And so now we own them all on DVD, and whether my adult kids are here or not, we get them down, at least watch them through at least once, including the rather obscure Santa's Magic Toy Bag, which was kind of a Muppet one, about this. He's the wannabe elf who does everything wrong. He bakes the candy canes, he melts the gumdrops, but it turns out all his quirkiness is what ends up being exactly what's needed when everything goes wrong on Christmas Eve. So it's one of those nobody's heard of, but it is available on DVD. So I gotta watch that stretch of Christmas movies and The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Michael Caine keeping a straight face when you know he's walking on boards over open pits so all the Muppets can come up around him.
yeah.
He just plays it so straight. And besides that, the songs are good. Hank, Nancy, anything you haven't thrown in yet?
The usual ones, but also Santa Claus is coming to town. That one stop motion one is always good because that young Santa was kind of hot as a puppet. I don't know, but that red beard and everything, I was kind of like, dang, Santa.
And Jessica has this very 70s song.
Yes.
Where
she does.
She definitely does.
And she's
Yes.
swirling around.
Like Jessica Rabbit. Like
Yes, Jessica Rabbit. She's got like a little tiny waist that's like this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and I am going to throw in there that my favorite Hallmark Christmas movie is The Christmas Ornament. And, it was just handled so well. And, Kelly was, a widow, and he makes her that wreath of mittens that the old folks have made and nobody really ever wears them. And that he pretends to sell and give the old ladies money. That movie, I love it. And I give it away every year for Christmas presents because it's my favorite, which I've written that one.
Christmas Vacation is also a big favorite in my house. So much so that I was so excited a couple of months ago, I finally found the Moose glass mugs, and I bought them for my husband because I finally found them. I've been looking for them for years.
I
in the Moose glasses.
I nicknamed my grandson that you guys met. His nickname is Moose because he's born December 15th. And I just love Moose, and I like to see them, the plaid and everything, to the point that I even have one. This is my anxiety moose.
Oh,
for when he's not here. And I just love that he was born around Christmas time. So now it's going to be like not only Christmas, but his first birthday. So you know, my house is going to throw up Christmas at this point and birthdays. So I'm just letting you know, if you see my family on the internet complaining, that's what happens, and I'm okay with it.
The other one that I stumbled upon that I really love is Arthur Christmas. It's about Santa's younger son, who isn't the one who's supposed to take over when Santa retires.
Oh.
His older, much more corporate brother is the up and comer, and he's got everything on a spreadsheet, and there's no heart, but he's very, very organized. And Arthur, on the other hand, has 365 different ugly Christmas sweaters, one for each day of the year. And he hangs out with the elves and the reindeer, and he sings Christmas carols all the time because he just loves Christmas. And, you know, hilarity ensues and everything goes wrong. But there's just so much heart in it. It always gets that look of, huh? But if you find it, it's worth watching because it's just so unexpected. So when you decorate, what is your, come on, share your secrets of what's your geeky decorating, or what is your favorite thing about Christmas or holiday decorations? It isn't the holidays until, share your secrets. Hank?
So we haven't put up a tree for a few years because we have cats that like to tear it apart. So we kind of make do with like lighted wreaths and things like that. It's something different every year, but to me, it's not the holidays until the neighborhood starts putting up those big colored lights. And when I see the big colored lights, you know, everybody's got the little LEDs and everything. That's nice, but those big painted colored light bulbs, those I love those. I don't know why, but those are always Christmas to me. So yeah.
Yeah, those are the kind we used to have on our house when I was growing up. Those big giant lights.
Yeah. Nancy?
It is not Christmas until I see eggnog in the stores, and then I feel like it's getting to be Christmas. And my favorite thing is wrapping the presents. And I'm kind of bad at actually the wrapping of them, but I use lots of wire ribbon so it looks beautiful. That's my favorite part.
How about you, Kiernan?
We used to put up a tree every year, obviously, when, you know, when my kids were growing up. Now my kids are all grown. They all have families of their own, so they all have their own Christmas trees. So I decided I needed to get creative with my tree. So one year we bought this the smallest, skimpiest little tree we could find on the lot. We put one ornament on it, bent it over, and had a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. And then last year I found a Christmas tree that's it's artificial and it has a snowman head. And we put that up, and I had no decorations on it. I didn't need any. It had a snowman head. I was done. So I'm just trying to get creative and have fun with it now because my kids are all grown. They can do the hard stuff now. I don't need to.
That's fun.
Dahlia?
For me, Christmas starts the day after this Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving night, I'm pulling out all the boxes and they're all looking at me crazy. I'm like, I'm putting up my Christmas. But it is not Christmas for me until I pull out my Doctor Who ornaments, because Doctor Who Christmas specials comes on, and every year someone gets me a new little ornament for Doctor Who. So when they come out, Christmas have arrived for the Dahlia Rose house.
That is great. Violet? You're muted.
I know, and it wasn't, the space bar wasn't unmuting me. Like, well, very much like Hank, I love Christmas lights. And once the Christmas lights are on the outside of the house, I go outside every night and look at them and just giggle like a little kid. But I guess my favorite thing is the trees, plural. I unfortunately am a little tiny bit obsessive about the decoration. So when the kids were younger and they have all these like construction paper yarn things, and of course everything that they hang like was at a certain height depending on how tall they were, and it was like 15 in one spot and none in another, and I would like break out in hives trying to like let that be their tree. So I bought myself a tree. So we have the family tree that has all the family ornaments that can look like it was done by the family in a loving way. And then I have my tree that's very pretty, and it's all purple and gold and silver and white lights, and it's all the beautiful, really nice, expensive ornaments. And so we do the family tree as a family, and then I get to do my tree so that I have something really pretty. So, so yeah, that's probably not in the best of holiday spirits there, but you know, I love the trees.
Oh, I'm right there with you. We do 3 trees, and our kids are all grown. So one tree is the family tree, which I kept all the things that the kids made when they were in daycare, including the ornaments that were made. My kids are now in their mid to late 20s. So when they were in daycare, those AOL free discs were everywhere.
Yeah.
And they make really nice Christmas ornaments in daycare with free craft materials. If you put glitter on them and then hang them on a ribbon, they're kind of shiny. I got a bunch of those. And so that has all their ornaments. And I thought, oh, they're older now. They aren't going to want to see this. And they drag their, significant others over and go, look, there's the one I made. It still works. That's got my fandom stuff on it, like my TARDIS and my Cyberman and my Impala and Starship Enterprise and the Serenity. The tree in the hallway is the more formal tree. It's got, more matching ornaments, and it's the white and gold and some purple. The one in the family room, whenever we go on vacation, we get our souvenir as an ornament or 2 or 3. And so when we put those ornaments up, it's all like, oh, do you remember when we went to Savannah? Oh, do you remember when we went to Charleston? And so just decorating it is walking down memory lane for all the trips we've taken or places we've been. And when it comes to lights, I buy a tree that is pre-lit, and then I put about another 4,000 or 5,000 lights on top of it.
Yes, definitely.
If you can't see it from space, you haven't done it right.
It's like Chevy Chase, like the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, but the tree version. Yes, definitely. I'm right there with you.
Yes. It got to be blinding, or you're just, you could use more. Well, folks, believe it or not, we have come to the end of our time almost. So let's tell everybody where to find you online. And if you've got a new book coming out this Christmas or an old book that you want people to notice, tell us what it is, because it's the holiday. Hank.
Oh, okay. I am online. I have a website at www.hankedwardsbooks.com. All of my books are listed there, and I'm on Facebook, and I have an author group called Hank's Hangout, and I have little chats in there now and then. I'm still writing a holiday story for release this year, hopefully, and I have a couple of holiday stories out. Snowflakes and Song Lyrics is out there, and it's part of a series, a shared universe series with another author. It takes place at the Williamsville Inn. So we each took that hotel and wrote about it. So
awesome. Nancy?
All right. Okay. So A Heartfelt Christmas Promise is out right now, along with the mass market version of Hope at Christmas, which will be airing on Hallmark starting October 26th. And it plays several times through December, so I hope everybody will look for that. Also, I've had the great honor of being the voice in the novels for the Christmas and Evergreen series. So the 3rd Christmas and Evergreen, Tidings of Joy, will be out November 3rd, and it will be airing on Hallmark as well. And I'm a part of a 11-story anthology called Christmas Actually, and I hope people will look for that. It's 99 cents. You get 11 stories if you pre-order before December 1st, and you can find me at nancynaigle.com and Nancy Naigle on all the social media. So I'm easy to find, and I would love to connect with some folks.
Awesome. Kiernan?
You can find me at KiernanKelly.com, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter, and I'm on all the platforms as Kiernan Kelly. I have the 3-story book coming out. It's called Archangels Unleashed, and each story is about an archangel doing very angelic things with other angels, and that will hopefully be out in the next couple of weeks. But I'll put it up on Facebook when it's released.
And where can we find you?
You can find me on KiernanKelly.com and on Facebook and Twitter and all the platforms.
Cool.
All of them.
Dahlia?
You can find me at DahliaRoseUnscripted.com. You can find all of my books there, including all of my previous Christmas releases. My new book will be out in the end of November. It's called My True Love Gave to Me, and it will feature African-American heroine and an Asian hero, and we are going to be trying to mix their two cultures together to make a really wonderful Christmas for their daughter.
Nice. Violet.
You can find me at violethowe.com and on all the social media platforms. And I have a super fun reader group on Facebook called the Ultraviolet. And my holiday romance is Christmas Hope. It is book 4 in the Soul Sisters at Cedar Mountain Lodge series. Book 1 in that series is Christmas Sisters, and it's a free prologue book that introduces the mom and the 4 foster daughters, the first Christmas they spend together. And then the next 5 books all take place at a Christmas lodge, same place, same time, same family, but each book is from a different character's point of view. So mine is from the mother's point of view, and it's Christmas Hope. And you can find that on all the online vendors.
Great. Thank you. You can find me online at gailzmartin.com and morganbrice.com. My Gail reader group is Shadow Alliance, and my Morgan reader group is The Worlds of Morgan Brice. I've got a Christmas anthology from last year, Christmas at Kiernan Castle, that had 7 romance authors and sharing one fictional castle in England. I think I've got the only male story there. All of them are a little bit paranormal. And we have this year the Trick or Treat at Kiernan Castle, 4 authors, same castle, same sort of thing. I've got just after the holidays, I'm in a very large multi-author winter themed giveaway. So keep your eyes open for that. And my most Christmassy novels are Lucky Town in the Badlands series, and oddly enough, Dark Rivers in the Witchbane series, which won't strike you as a Christmas novel, but it takes place at Christmas, and Christmas is important there. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. This has been so much fun to get a little Christmas right now and talk about all these wonderful, scrumptious things to read and enjoy over the holiday season. And thank you for watching us. We'll have a lot more holiday romance and just fa la la here at Continual. See you online.